Leeds United could see something of a renaissance soon, and this isn't just on the pitch, because it looks like we're doing pretty well at the moment, but it is also off the pitch, with all the infrastructure around the club potentially changing, being updated, and building into a more productive, effective place. And this is pushed even further by the fact that there is a big update to the stadium development plans that has been a little bit of sort of sneaky beakied around into various people's email addresses, because Leeds United are currently in the process of consulting fans on stadium changes. So in this video, I'm going to run through what all of the various questions are within this poll, what exactly they mean, and what it means for the project as it goes forward, and what exactly we can expect for the development and how we're sort of feeling about it. But first, more than 50% of you guys aren't subscribed, and it's one button down about here, so boop that and it'll be fantastic. Give you a second. Cool, let's get into it. So, bunching through most of the questions that are in this wonderful little survey, there's all sorts of questions going on. So you've got the basic stuff like questions on who exactly is answering the questionnaire. So you've got stuff on demographics towards the end of it. You've got stuff on, do you have a club membership? Where do you sit? All that sort of stuff very, very early on in the survey, which is completely fine, all good. And it gets a better idea of sort of like who is answering these questions for the club. 1 second. There we go. I just realized the camera was a little bit wrong. But then you get into sort of the meat of the entire thing, and this is where I think things were a little bit more interesting. Sorry, I keep looking this way. It's because I've got all of the questions on a really long spreadsheet and all of the potential answers and everything. I've prepared for this one. So, for example, there's a big section on how would you rate, and it lists you can rate all of these things out of 5s, from a mostly positive to a mostly negative, with positive, neutral, negative in the middle. And there's a hell of a lot of things on the list. So it covers, for example, the food and drink options available. That includes both the price of food and the price of beverages, and the range of beverages and the quality of the food, for example. Includes value for money, not just in terms of food, but in terms of getting a ticket to Elland Road, because it ain't cheap. It includes the seat itself, asking if it's comfy, if there's enough legroom, all that sort of stuff. Entrances and exits, so are you happy with the ease of how simple it is to get into Elland Road? Is it easy enough to get away from it after a match? What the facilities are like, including toilets, accessibility, all that sort of stuff. Cleanliness and parking, for example, are two very big issues, especially the cleanliness point. And then the wider experience, such as external fan zones, entertainment, in-ground entertainment. There's all sorts of stuff that asked about. The idea of this section of it is to get a better idea of what absolutely everyone thinks when they're coming to Elland Road. This will be a very, very big sample of people. It won't have just been sent off to 15 blokes that happen to have a membership. This is going to people that will cover a wide range of data, including people who have showed up this season, haven't showed up since last season, even as far back as before 2020, something like that. They're getting as many people as they can, so they've got a wide range of data, so they can properly discuss absolutely everything and work out, okay, how do we best cater our services to the fans that will show up on a match day? And that doesn't just include general admission. We knew this was going to happen. There are a few questions on hospitality things as well. So, for example, I'll just run through what those are as well. Have you ever purchased hospitality tickets for a Leeds fixture at Elland Road? Yes or no? Then it asks, if you say yes, what hospitality tickets you did purchase. Again, it's getting a better idea of what people's sort of ideal price point is, all that sort of stuff. And then if you say no, there's a big question asking why you haven't bought one before. So, for example, you can mention that the price was too high, which is, I'll be honest, a reason a lot of people won't have gone with hospitality before. You can say that you quite like your current seat and where you're sat at the moment. You can say you like sitting with friends and family. The benefits aren't appealing to you. It's not offering sort of the needs that you particularly want out of a hospitality seat, and you can just give other as an option. Hell of a lot of questions available to you, and it makes me feel like hospitality is going to be a big thing, but asking that question in the first place tells me that it wants to be sort of accessible hospitality, and that suits what Angus Kinnear said on the Square Bowl, where it's a sort of GA plus. Maybe something to eat before a match or something like that, where it's not fancy padded seat sort of thing, but it's a little bit of a step above, which may be fair enough, but then you're potentially wandering into the pricing situation either way. Following the hospitality stuff, there were a few travel questions, and this is where I was quite happy, because we all know that getting to Elland Road and from Elland Road can be a nightmare on a match day. depending on when you're leaving, depending on when you're showing up. So questions include, for a typical home fixture, when does your journey to Elland Road begin? I'm going next Tuesday, and my journey is beginning at like 9 a.m. because I live in Blackpool, like getting over in a timely manner. And it's just sort of, it gets a good idea of where people are from, which also comes in the next question, which is please enter your home postcode. Obviously, I've not completed the entire survey, but again, this is getting an idea of where the fans are, where you need to improve transport options, and how you're going to get people in. This is ultimately going to suit sort of the infrastructure travel consultant people that were also talked about, because football grounds lead to big traffic. And I feel like we're in a situation where, ideally, if you're putting more people in Elland Road, you're dealing with the traffic well. So these questions existing is very positive for me. There's also questions around what time you normally arrive, what time you normally leave, your main mode of transport. So for me, that would go down as rail, but other people will either take the car or get a shuttle to and from the city, or just walk in. Plenty of options. And then finally, are your travel patterns to Elland Road the same for weekday and weekend fixtures? This is the sort of detail that is really good to see that is being asked about, because late kickoffs on a weeknight, for example, you've also got people going home from work. So there's a lot of different travel concerns that need to be discussed in surveys like this so they can actually plan going forwards. And the more data that they collect around this stuff, the more confident I'm feeling about this whole redevelopment stuff. But then we get to a section that is explicitly on the development. First question of that being, please indicate your attitude towards the development of Elland Road. Can be positive, very positive, neither, negative, very negative, all that sort of stuff. But then comes a very, very interesting question for me, which is, which of the following stadium development areas do you find most important? And you were able to pick 5 options, and there are a lot of options. And it tells me that fans are very much going to be listened to in this. Options being legroom, bathrooms and improved facilities, comfortable seating, wider, spacious concourses, because we know it can get rammed in there, especially if it's raining. Improved fan zone, accessibility, capacity. Sorry, got the hiccups. Modern appearance and facilities, improved food and drink options, improved entry, more hospitality capacity, more parking, new hospitality experiences, or improved atmosphere. All of these are things that I'm assuming have been discussed either by commercial partners or fans. And fans will obviously lean heavily in one direction towards. Let's have a quick look. Increased capacity, probably comfortable seating and legroom, because Jesus, that West Stand in particular is not very pleasant to be in, especially those old wooden seats. Maybe food and drink options, entering, exiting, things being engineers that they mentioned are also going to be important. Quite expect there was a question on the location of away fans and where people think away fans should be sat, and it offered all sorts. It offered north, east, south. I'm leaning east upper, just get them as far away from the pitch as you can because it's funny. But I think that is another positive. It's a sign of listening, and listening is ultimately what Leeds United's board need to be doing at the minute in order to be in a position where everything's going to work out in the long term. Sorry about that. Connection went a little bit janky there. There was also a little bit of chat about the expansion of the match day itself. So, for example, what would encourage you to arrive at the stadium earlier? It listed an indoor fan zone, outdoor fan zone, screen showing of the games, early bird discounts, and like live music. And then it did the same for post-match, including stuff like player appearances and interviews and stuff like that. And then basically, I think that'll be sort of a traffic mitigation thing, because the more people who are still in Elland Road, people are leaving more slowly, and it means that the traffic goes down more gradually. And then there was a really interesting thing to me in that it was looking to start a fan focus group. So I asked, would you be interested in potentially joining a fan focus group to further discuss the stadium redevelopment? Yes or no? Very promising to me. The fact that they are openly just asking people things. And it gets us away from that club badge mess that happened so long ago. And in my opinion, what this all means is that we're very, very early in the process now, but fans are currently sat in the middle of that process. And if fans are able to stay in the middle of that process, that means that Elland Road is going to be developed for fans rather than being developed for the most profitable outcomes. Yeah, sure, there'll still be a part of that. There is no getting away from it. Even if no one says, we want more hospitality, we're going to get more hospitality profit from this. But what this seems to mean is that there's a shift in the direction of listening to fans, putting fans fairly high up on the list of priorities here, which is at the end of the day what we want to see as supporters of the club, because it means that Elland Road is still going to be a home rather than some corporate bowl thing that everyone's like, don't recognise that as Elland Road. And when it comes to how it all looks at the moment, I'm very much optimistic, because asking people that are most experienced in going to Elland Road, being members and people who hold season tickets and all that sort of stuff, I don't know how widely this survey has gone, but it won't be to nobody. It was given to me by a guy on Twitter. But to me, it looks really promising, because it says that we're heading in the right direction and we're listening to the right people, and the grounds development will have the right sort of philosophy from the very early stages. And I'm very, very happy with the idea of that. Yeah, it might be a little bit more commercialized, and we might have pre-match fans only things, and we might have post-match stuff going on where a player might make an appearance or something like that. But at the end of the day, that's not a step in the wrong direction for me. A step in the wrong direction would be sod it, it's all corporate. But actually listening to people is the first step towards being on the right path. But at the end of the day, as always, that's just what I think. So, as always, I'm going to ask what you think. Let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to go on with the stadium development stuff, because it is, at the end of the day, really important to the club's future. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're not yet. As I mentioned earlier, more than half of you aren't, which is a little bit of a shame, but it's fine. And if you fancy, you could even become a channel member. You even get videos like this early. This one I didn't even record on stream, so channel members will have seen this like 7 hours before you guys. So sorry, but also it's 99p a month, so it's fine. Either way, hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Ta-ra. There's a pun in Elland Road somewhere, but I can't find it. I'll find it for the next video. I will. See you later.